All right. So let's now move on to generating content.
Yep.
So tell us about how to generate content using ChatGPT.
Yeah. So fairly similar to content optimization, but ChatGPT can basically start to create, it can help you write your product description when you never had a product description. You can give it just like product features, right? I think back to our blender example. I do not, disclosure, I don't sell any blenders. I have no clients that sell blenders, so no, I don't know why that popped into my head, but you can just paste in very features, right? Or attributes, the motor strength, and it can start to generate your long description. It can generate that A plus content text if you want it to. It might hallucinate, and that's where you have to go back to your prompt and say, okay, the company description is this, the company history, the brand name. What is the brand? What is the brand about? Is it a fun brand? Is it a serious commercial brand? You can give it those words and just a very short bit of information about a product, and it will create very lengthy content for you if you want it to.
And can you use that content as is? Because I'm always hearing you can't just use what ChatGPT gives you. You have to ultimately decide, and you have to make changes, because then the systems will detect that this is AI generated and it's not going to be effective.
Yeah, that is I'll say it's kind of there's a lot of nuance to that question, because some people say Google search engine like detects AI text and down ranks it. That is not true. And we know that Amazon is starting to build AI tools into their product editors. So we know that, like, they just want to sell, Amazon wants to sell more product.
Right.
Right? At the end of the day, Amazon wants to sell more product through seller fees or their 1P business. They want to sell more. So um, there's no fact that AI content is going to get you in trouble or anything. The second part, which is much more real, is the hallucination. So if you don't put up the guardrails, it will make up something about your brand. It'll state your brand was founded in 1935, and it might not have been, right? If the AI thinks it sounds good, and if you're asking it to be creative, it will be creative. When
Yeah.
you use the API, there's an interesting thing that you can set that doesn't exist on ChatGPT, and it's a feature called the temperature. So when you're on, the temperature is basically built in to the system, and you're giving the AI freedom and creativity. So if you set your temperature high, it will make stuff up, which is great if you're writing a story about, you
A
know,
novel
a
fiction.
novel about dragons or whatever. Be creative. But when you have a product and you want it to stay to the facts, that is, yeah, you don't want the temperature very high. But sometimes it benefits you. Really, what it is it, as business owners, as people working on these Amazon accounts, it's giving you inspiration to create new content
Right,
that helps
right,
you sell better. So it's,
right.
oh, I didn't think of saying it like that. So rarely, yeah, when you're generating content, rarely are you copying and pasting back into Amazon and just taking it word for word. Especially if, yeah, when it's your brand, that the AI has never seen your brand before. So you're going to want to just review it yourself, edit it yourself, Make sure it's human and from your voice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you just said it. It's at the end of the day, this is your product, or
Exactly.
you're representing it, and you've got a job, and the job is to create the content. So
Absolutely.
you can do it in two ways. You can either have all the answers, you know exactly what to say, and then you sit down and start producing the content, or you need assistance to give you ideas, to inspire you, to give you a different perspective. That's what AI is for. So,
Exactly.
and you know, another way I do it is I actually write the stuff, and then I just feed it into AI and say, rephrase this in a more mainstream language. And so it gives me back something that's probably, you know, not being a native English speaking person.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely.
Not that native English speaking people have perfect grammar.
No.
So it gives it to me in a much more, you know,
Yeah.
better written language and more main. So ultimately, I would say to everybody, you know, absolutely use AI, but use it for assistance. Don't just take it and copy paste, and then you think
Oh,
that's
yeah.
it. It
Well,
should be
another common thing is just saying, rephrase this from a 6th grade reading level,
right.
right? Make it very basic,
Yeah,
just to get, maybe your corporate jargon out, or maybe, yeah, some technical words that could be more simple to reach a broader audience. It very well might help you connect with more people. So
yeah,
it's just, especially with the A/B testing, there's just a lot of tools at people's hands, and this is really, AI really got good this year in 2023. Like,
yeah,
OpenAI has been available for a few years, but it really got good this year. And you're talking about huge amounts of investments, right? You're talking about the Amazon, Google, Microsoft dumping huge amounts of money into their own versions
yeah,
of AI tools, right? Uh yeah, Google, and right, we all talk about ChatGPT because it's the most popular, but Amazon has their own kind of copycat of that.
yeah.
Um and yeah, Google has their own. So just because they're the ChatGPT is the first doesn't mean it's going to be the winner. Um
Yeah.
so that
Well, by the way, yesterday we were doing something, and this is an interesting situation. I was working with my team member who's offshore, and we were looking at some. This was for technical information. So we asked ChatGPT, "Is there an Amazon API call for this?" And ChatGPT said, "No, there isn't." Now, I happen to know that there is. So
right.
I go to Google AI and Bard, and I asked Bard, and Bard gave me the answer, gave me the exact code. It gave me the API call and gave me the exact the example of how that works.
Yeah.
And then I asked another version of that call, and gave me the same again. Now, this time you use this filter, and here is an example. And then I said to my team member, take a look at this. This is interesting. He plugs it in, and his version of Bard said it's not available.
Yeah.
So location is, I'm thinking location is the only difference. So I said, okay, open an incognito window. Didn't make any difference. We didn't change, we didn't use proxy servers or anything to
Yeah.
see. So keep that in mind. Your VAs, if you are
Oh yeah.
using and you ask them to do work with AI, they may not actually get the results
Yeah,
that you
exactly.
in the US. So I did not think about that. So it's something important
Yeah,
to
I've not
share.
seen that.